Welcome everybody back to my channel. So what we're going to do is we are going to declare some variables. We're going to declare an integer variable or double variable. We're going to declare a string variable and a char variable. You don't have to worry about the string and char variable. We'll go through that together since I have not introduced them yet. But we're going to use the cin function to store a value, and we're going to display that value or string or character in a cout statement. So let's go ahead and see what we need to do. So here we're asked to declare a variable, use the cin function to store the value, and display that value in a cout statement. As well, we're asking to declare a string name and a char variable. We want to use the cin function to store that value and display it in a cout statement. So let's just do a small program to do that. We can put whatever we want in these string variables. So, like always, we are going to start with our directive, which is iOS stream. Today, we're going to introduce the include string because since we're declaring a um, a string variable, we need to include that directive so we can access that string variable. And then we're going to use our using namespace std, and then we're going to create our main function. All right, so it's asking us to declare a variable. Let's say it's an integer x. And now we want to use the cin function to store the variable. So let's ask a question like enter a value for x. And we're going to use the cin function to store a value in x so the user can input that value. And let's display it. So let's say the value of x is, so what you do next is you get out of the quotation marks, we use another of our operators and put the variable name without the quotation marks and end it right there. So I'm going to use end line so it can go to the next line, or I'll use two of them so I can separate for the other ones. So what is this little program right here? We're declaring a variable x. We're asking the user to enter a value, and that value that they enter will be stored in x. And our second cout statement pretty much says the value of x is whatever that value over here is inputted. So let's do a quick run of that. So nothing new here. I haven't used a string yet, so we don't have to worry about the strings yet. It's going to be the next one. So there's nothing new. We used the using namespace, the iOS stream, the main function, and an integer variable, cout statement, and cin statement. So here it's asking me to enter a value of x. So I'm going to say 89. So here the value of 89 is, the value of x is 89. And you have to include this space, which I didn't. That's why it looks like it was together. So we want to have this space right here. The space right here. Want to include that space so enough for the program to fit that 89 properly. So let's just add any other numbers again. So let's say 79. The value of x is 79. So now it's asking us to declare a string name, use the cin function to store a variable, to store a value, and display that value in a cout statement. So it's pretty much going to be exactly the same. So let's say this is how you declare a string variable, just like you declare an integer variable with int. And I want to call it name. All right. So now I'm going to ask to enter a name. So here I'm asking the user to enter a name, and the cin function allows us to store that in name. And again, it's going to be the same exact thing. The name in the string is space, our operator, and let's put the name of our string, which is name. And I'm going to end line. Remember, end line is just an enter. If I don't have that enter, it won't go to the next line. So we're going to debug that and see that it runs well. Make sure that the syntax is correct. So it's still going to ask us the first question because it's in my program. So enter the value of x. So let's say 16. Enter a name, let's say John. And the name in the string is John. So the CIN function for name is storing whatever string you want in here. And for you guys, string is just, can be a sentence, can be names, it's just characters. Alright, and for the next one is a char variable. So just so we can, I like to be organized when I'm doing my programming. So I want to declare a char variable. A char variable is just a single character. It can be a letter. It can be a symbol like the at sign or the and operator, percent sign, anything like that could be included in the char variable. Let's call this var. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Just cleaning this up for you guys. So I'm going to ask the user to enter a character for var. I'm going to use the CIN function, and the name of our char variable is var. So whatever the user inputs, whatever character the user inputs, it would be stored in var. And the character in the variable is, and we get out of the quotation marks, we use our operator, and the name of the variable that I want is var. And I'll use the end line so we can enter. Start debugging. So it's still going to ask me the three questions. It's going to ask me to enter value, 89. Value of x is 89. Enter name, let's say John. The name in the string is John. And enter a character. The character, I put the at sign, the character in the variable is at. And the char variable can only store one character, so only use one character. And if we want to include all of them in the same line, cout. I'm not going to put any writing in there. I'm just going to put the actual variables. So let's say x. Let's put a quotation and a space so it spaces it out. And what we want to do next is name, operator, quotations, and space. And let's do var. And let's end the line so it goes to the next line. So let's start debugging that. So it's going to say the value of 89 or whatever value that we three have, and it's going to be by spaces. So let's say 78, John, or let's say Peter to change it, and percent. So 78 is the placeholder for x, Peter is a placeholder for name, and percent is a placeholder for var. Well, guys, I know we haven't learned the string and char variables yet. They're not much different than having to declare the integers and doubles, but they do work differently, of course. But they're used to declare the same way, and you can add whatever you want inside of that variable the same way. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, or you guys learned something from it. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for some more C++ tutorials.